statistically speaking,
your mama,
bitch. Single parent household.
Bring your ass outside.
Are you violent?
Bring your ass outside.
Are you telling me you're?
You always got to shit the way.
Look what these people did to me. Look what they did to these people to me.
I wonder why children.
Hey.
Look what they did to these people to me. Now, when we talk about race, there's a lot of concerns about systemic racism. Same thing can be mentioned about the police, even hotel security. But the harsh truth is that some people have a higher rate of offenses.
Him and the flag need to go.
I don't need.
Well, I can't tell you what to do in the library.
This is public property. We have the right to be here. We have the right to be here.
You did a racist threat to us at the library? You had a right for that?
No, I did not at the library. Afterwards, yes.
Investigators say the swarm of high school students punched, kicked, and stomped to death 17-year-old Jonathan Lewis. Using viral videos of the brutal beating, police say they've now identified 8 of the victim's classmates.
Many cannot afford to move to different areas or send their children to private or church school, and too many of our kids are now suffering a living hell in an environment more like a nasty, violent, drug-filled gangster rap reality show. Black juveniles are 10 times more likely to be criminal, to beat, to rob, to kill, to deal drugs. Are facts racist too? Are white parents racist because they don't want their children to go to school where their children are 10 times more likely to be robbed or abused, intimidated, beaten, or even killed or raped? A school where obscenity, drugs, and violence and gangster rap are the dominant culture.
Do not know. Nobody likes you.
Thanks for making my day, sir.
You're a loser. Nobody likes you. You have no friends.
That's good to know.
Alone.
How are you more
It's
likable?
I have friends.
The single mother households are where these violent, crazy kids are coming from. See, yes, statistically speaking, yes, I was a single child parent. I'm sorry, statistically speaking,
your mama,
bitch. Single parent household.
Come on, President.
I'm leaving.
Hold on.
If you are not leaving, we're going to ask you to leave. Like, escort you to leave.
Oh, the violence. Are you telling me you're violent?
Bring your ass outside.
Are you violent?
Bring your ass outside.
Are you telling me you're?
You always got to shit the way.
Look what these people did to me. Look what they did to these people to me.
I wonder why children.
Hey. Stop instigating.
Okay. Oh, you're okay. Are we?
I don't love Nazis. Go fuck yourself.
There you go. And that is the teacher teaching your
And I don't give you consent to record me. You don't have consent to record
I don't
me.
need consent.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the town hall that happened several weeks ago. And I spoke to a lot of people that we need to distribute funding more efficiently across the board because the east side is not getting much. I do support the pay increase, but the heart of the issue is the cost of living. We pay among the highest gas prices, highest car insurance, above average home prices. Dr. Jara, you pushed for the higher sales tax. This is very concerning. Where did all the money go? And not to mention the COVID measures, eviction moratoriums jacked up the cost of living. This is the same mention I mentioned to the Culinary Union. Now, when we talk about race, there's a lot of concerns about systemic racism. Same thing can be mentioned about the police, even hotel security. But the harsh truth is that some people have a higher rate of offenses. If you look at crime rates all over the world, Central Africa has above average violent rate, and then the lowest is found in Northeast Asia. Northeast Asia have higher test scores along with Iran, and they're significantly higher than Guatemala and Congo, and you reflect similar patterns of performance in the test scores out here. It's interesting, speaking of Iran, country where my parents came from, they abolished black slavery in the 1920s from the Arab slave trade. We need to talk more about that. And by the way, differences among performance existed for over thousands of years. Think about it. I hear a lot of people talking about there's less population growth. More people are instead choosing Idaho and Texas. Perhaps the school performance has a lot to do with it. Now, there's been a lot of concerns about Dr. Jara, and I really don't like to see the division. I don't really like to see this tug of war, but it does concern me. When I see you're with organizations that represent unauthorized immigrants.
Cyrus, I'm going to ask you to keep your remarks to the entire board. This is not a public comment for Dr. Jara.
Okay, I just want to let you know what I see, and I do think it's a concern that this system, and we have problems with it right now, that it's affecting our overall school performance. And there's a reason why so many people are going to other states, because when they look at these schools, many companies and businesses, and there's a lot of other factors. We have poor mass transit, many different issues why it's affecting our long-term economic growth. But other than that, these differences that we see in behavior and school performance exist all over the world. And unfortunately, no matter how much we try to address it, no matter how much funding we try to do, it's going to have a similar pattern of behavior. Thank you.
Celine Chang.
Breeds behavior. Your behavior is breeding the behavior you're getting in return, and you don't like it.
Warning. Actually, this is your second warning. Would you like to excuse yourself from the boardroom? And Mr. Underwood, you're welcome to also leave.
My head too?
No, you're welcome to leave. You're disturbing a board meeting.
I don't want to leave.
Okay. Sir, please, I've already asked this gentleman in the front to submit his name. Please escort him out. He is disturbing the public meeting. I'd like the police officers to come inside, please. This gentleman is he does not want to leave the room. Mr. Underwood is resisting the request of security and resisting the request of the trustees and asking him to leave. No, this is not a negotiation, Mr. Underwood. This is a leave this boardroom. I'm telling you what's going on.
So you're trespassing?
Mr. Underwood, Mr. Underwood is being asked to leave.
So if you're trespassing, you're supposed to read a trespass notice, aren't you? So get the notice out and read me a trespass notice. I'm doing here because now you're making me move. So then we have to give justification for it. So then I'm under arrest. Is that right?
Oh dear.
The trespass notice. Do it here before you move, sir.
There's 11 schools that have these books, and I want to read the part. I put some lube and got him on his knee. I began sliding to him from behind. I pulled on him and kissed him, and he masturbated me. This was my ass, and I was struggling to imagine some inside me. He got on top and slowly inserting himself inside me. This was my ass. You cannot stop me. You cannot stop me. You don't have the right to stop me. You don't have. This is the book you want to give to kids like these kids are here. Why are you stopping me? You are violating my right to speak. I should have time to speak.
You have plenty of time to pause your time.
This is the book, all boys aren't blue.
I'm gonna ask you one time. Okay. This is a public channel. Okay, and we have a responsibility to uphold language.
So why are you wanting the schools?
Well, I'm gonna return your time, and you're welcome to continue, but I'm gonna ask you to keep your language. to me my phone.
See, how does that make sense? Doesn't make sense. When a normal lesson is not normal.
Okay, I want to keep just speaking. Flamer, that Pastor John was here too, he tried to read, is in our schools. The superintendent was not here, we had the room full of parents and you didn't listen to us, but you listened to a librarian that you did a pledge with her beers. She attacked me on her social media and she said, I'm a highly fuckable. That's the language of people you guys choose to choose our books. Yeah. And she attacked me and you guys called me hateful.
Yes, she did. That's right.
And I say very kind to her, I'm not gonna go to you because I have a husband and I'm proud married, but that's, I have the proof. Even in Nevada Globe posted that. That is the person you chose to do a pledge. You should resign, Sharon. You should resign. You are upsetting teachers, you're upsetting parents. You cannot put the community together, Sharon. You should resign.
Moving on. And,
That's the people they want to, the librarians that call me.
is that you?
I'm Stephanie.
Oh, sorry.
Stephanie Kinsley. Oh, you know my name. Don't act like you don't. You do.
Trans kids love you. Y eres una vergüenza a la comunidad latina.
Kimmy Wednesday. I want to talk to you guys.
Hi, my name's Stephanie Kinsley. I'm one of the terrorist moms who don't want children's genitals mutilated. I thought about coming up and is identifying as a black man today just so that I can point out the hypocrisy and that in all your stances. Because I just heard someone gasp at the idea of that. But someone else can get up here, a boy can get up here and say he's a girl, and then go play sports against a girl, and that's fine with everybody. So what I'm asking is my general concept to the board is just to kind of back up your stances. So I don't have a doctorate in biology, but I know we need oxygen. I know masking kids is bad. I know masks are stupid and do nothing but harm you. So I just want to know, why didn't we take a stance against that? Why are we telling little boys that they can be girls and girls they can be boys when they can't? Because actually, that's when these kids tend to have the highest suicide rate, is after they do all the surgery and all the pills, and they realize they're never going to be this idea that they had in their head. And instead of seeing these so sad children who are lost in their own bodies and giving them therapy and telling them that you're born perfect, you're fine, you don't need to mutilate your body to be happy. Instead, they get used like a little Gucci bag so their mom gets attention. And they get to say that their child's trans and they need all the attention from that, and it's so unhealthy. We're seeing all these kids come out who are transitioning, and they're just so upset that the adults in their lives let this happen, let them mutilate and ruin their bodies for life. I've sat through many board meetings in my life in private sector jobs where we discuss finances and business. Never in my life did I work for a company when the customers complained, the customers were wrong. That's never been the case. But that is how it is with CCSD. Yet you take my tax dollars, then you throw it in my face that I put my kids in private school. So I could spend $15,000 extra a year on top of the tens of thousands of dollars I give every year in taxes to the state. Just so that my kids got to breathe oxygen while your kids were masked up. My kids aren't going to be told that they're born in the wrong body and that they should mutilate their bodies and ruin it so they can never actually enjoy sex. That's actually child abuse, doing that to a child. That's child abuse. It's nothing short of child abuse, and it's disgusting. I just want to know how y'all sleep at night. You're the educated ones. Yeah, you all guys are making the most insane, illogical, you back up your mask mandates, back up anything you did, because none of it is based in science. It's all based in liberal ideology. And these statistics represent two-parent households. The single mother households are where these violent, crazy kids are coming from. See, yes, statistically speaking, yes, I was a single child parent.
You are disturbing a public meeting, Ms. Kinsley.
Okay.
Y'all better get that under control.
Send her out.
Yeah.
Send her out.
Despite your pats on the back to each other, you're failing and attempting to block the sun with one finger. Failures of school districts, much like this one, have created a vacuum. Moms for Liberty was created by parents who got sick of seeing this failure. But too many in this particular district and school board have a very twisted notion of what we are and what we do. We're called toxic and hateful. Let's list some of the reasons Moms for Liberty is so full of hate. We don't want boys to participate in girls' sports. How mean is that? Let's see. A female high school volleyball player who was injured while competing against a male player last year testified Tuesday to the mental and physical trauma she's dealt with since the incident. Speaking during a committee hearing of the North Carolina legislature, Peyton McNabb, a senior at a local high school, recounted the lingering injury she suffered from since she was struck in the face by a ball that was spiked by a male competitor in a match last September. She said, "I suffered a concussion and neck injury that to this day I'm still recovering from." Other injuries she's still living with include impaired vision and partial paralysis on the right side of her body. She's also experienced anxiety and depression. Unfortunately, this girl won't be the last. And what is this board waiting for to change that? Another $10 million lawsuit? Because I guarantee you, if you don't repeal or revise 5138, it's coming. So we believe men competing in women's sports is dangerous, not to mention stupid, and it's cheating. In another recent event, a male player who identified as a female reportedly knocked out the teeth of a female player at an all-girls field hockey high school game in Massachusetts. The poor girl reacted with repeated screams. Everyone stared shocked. The official said she had the exact same rights to participate as any player on any team. Does all that sound fair for our girls? Are we going to ignore that boys and girls don't have the exact same physical capabilities? Unfortunately, Lombardo addressed this issue by calling for NCAA transgender athletes to do a policy change for adult students, not for children. That makes no sense. Another reason Moms for Liberty is so scary is because we want to ban books. What books? Well, besides the obvious propaganda of gender confusion in books like All Boys Aren't Blue, that are wanting to leave our children scarred, mutilated, and sterile, we're horrible because we want to ban books from our schools, such as 13 Reasons Why. Where a few years ago in Colorado, they mourned the loss of 7 students who killed themselves. And they ordered librarians to temporarily stop circulating this book. That's the basis for Netflix's popular new series, 13 Reasons Why, which some critics say romanticizes suicide. Maybe that school official was just another Nazi.
Tiffany?
Bill Cooks, for the record, co-founder of 1865 No Racism in School. I am a community organizer, activist, and parent. Board of Trustees, Madam President, Superintendent Jara. After sitting through 2 expulsion appeal panel hearings of 2 black students at Palo Verde High School and watching the blatant disregard of these students' rights that had been violated, watching the school administrators tell bold-faced lies on these students in this appeal process to cover where they had completely failed to protect these students, then criminalized them, expelled them, and then stopped them from being able to appeal it further by placing them at NDLA. Then trying to shift the blame on the families through, so we demand a comprehensive revision of the CCSD expulsion process and an investigation at Palo Verde High School and the administrators and their expulsion processes that are happening right now, specifically for black students. If they can take a zero tolerance approach towards an attitude towards our students, then we can take a zero tolerance approach towards their jobs and their careers. They are throwing away our children, and we shall match that energy. The administrator, Mrs. Schumacher, has never shown her face while she is the one who is giving out these sentences or expulsions. We demand that she be immediately suspended and investigated because she is snatching these children's joy. I will close out by saying, I stand with trans children.
Diversity, the policy, of course, but of gender support plans in our schools. 300 and whatever. They get the numbers through FOIA dumps, and that's great. They have the numbers. I support their right to know how many students in CCUSD have those gender support plans. But you wanna know what else they have? Those 300 and whatever students have supportive parents, because those kids don't get a gender support plan unless they have a supportive parent who starts that process, shows up at a meeting, signs a paper. Supportive parents. Do you know how many kids are in this district that don't have supportive parents? That maybe don't know how to start the plan or don't care enough to? There are so many trans and gender diverse kids in this district who don't have a parent to start that process for them, who won't be called the name they want to be called, who won't be dignified with the pronouns that they choose, who have to go to school every day with the wrong name on their ID badge displayed for everyone to see because they don't have supportive parents at home.
This will be brief. I'm speaking as an individual, supporting the demands of no racism in schools, that students and families and community organizations regarding the expectations at Palo Verde High School. Expulsions should be recorded. The expulsions given these students should be reversed. After I heard their stories, I don't see how anything else can be done. I stood up here a couple of weeks ago and talked about the bullying policy, and I almost feel stupid standing here because I made the statement that you all have policies to protect students within the schools. And then I meet a family and I hear their stories, and another family and I hear their stories. And then I realized that the policy is not being followed. So here I am again. I support the idea that the community needs to sit with the administration and the board and review this expulsion policy and revise it. It appears that the procedures and the policy itself is racist, but particularly the implementation that's taking place. The current expulsion procedures are atrocious from what we're hearing happened in Palo Verde. And I hope I don't come back again and have to be feeling like I'm stupid because I supported something that you all are supposed to be doing but not doing. It's embarrassing. Thank you.
Transgender, LGBTQ+, straight, neurodivergent, neurotypical, and whatever, all deserve to receive an education based on facts and science. You can homeschool if you do not agree with this. This hate group is currently targeting less than 2%.
Karen, please do not reference the group, do not.
Okay.
Just please
there
make
are
your statements.
people that are, transgender students are less than 2% of the student population. Why are we targeting them? What is next? Book banning, curriculum banning, girls can't go to school anymore, we have to stay at home and wear skirts and bow to our husbands. Transgender children are still children, and I don't understand why we let these bullies bully children, these adults bully children. We also need leadership that will actually lead, not send a sexist tweet and then delete the account or spend the county's money on anything but the teachers. Where is the money for the teachers? Will it be spent on actual teachers and support staff or assistants and admin? Will the money be spent on supplies and materials or to pay law firms we don't need? Knowledge, understanding, empathy, and tolerance are the backbones to a thriving society. Without education that focuses on facts and not fiction, we will crash and burn. In closing, we need teachers, and the best way to recruit them is to pay the teachers. Give them the supplies, support, and structure that they need to teach. Give them the benefits they want and deserve. Give them the autonomy to be creative so that they may teach in a way that makes the kids want to come to school. This isn't rocket science, it's just common sense. Thank you.
The first is the expulsion policy for CCSD. I'm going to be speaking to the parents who came to talk to you about how they've been unfairly treated, how their bullying cases have not been addressed. Specifically, on page 4 of the bullying policy, we have highlighted for you that when they go to the Education Service Division's hearing panel, if that panel upholds this expulsion, that is where they are then allowed to go to the trustees panel and appeal to that next level. But you, according to the policy, you can't appeal to that next level unless if it was modified. And so here's what's happened. I provided you this on the second page, which is an email one of the parents received. Is that their expulsion was modified from an expulsion to an alternative school placement, which is just another word for an expulsion. The kid is still not allowed back in their home school, and they're required to now go to a different CCSD school. But they're not calling it expulsion, so then because they're not calling it expulsion, they've been told that they are not allowed to appeal to that next level. And I'm showing you that on the third page of the document I provided to you, where they say, quote, the decision of this expulsion hearing panel in this matter is final. So they do not have another ability to appeal to the trustees board. And so what's happening is they are manipulating that technicality in the policy and using this technical expulsion, alternative school placement, where the kids, again, are not allowed in their home school, but then are going to be placed into an online school. How is that not still an expulsion? They are playing around with the language. And this also adds on the concern I brought up in the past is, are these alternative school placements being reported to the federal government for expulsion requirements?
The Clark County School District Board of Trustees is spending a tremendous amount of time, resources, and money into transing students. Nevada has been at the bottom of the educational rankings for years, and this board has been completely ineffective in raising the quality of Nevada's education. And now in 2023, CCSD can't find or keep teachers. The school district is in a free fall, and CCSD is focused on transing students. You talked about $100 million in COVID money and pencils and papers that were available for the students. Did it ever occur to you to buy textbooks? Regulation 5138, Clark County School District has no business entering the world of medicine, especially dark medicine. Regulation 5138 allows the injecting of minors with puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and chemicals while their young bodies are still in their formative years. See the little plant up there? When you grow, we all grow. Inject the plant with cross-plant hormones and chemicals and growth blockers, and check the health of that plant after you've done all your weird science to it in about 2 months. That's what you're doing to our children. Your course of action is reckless, careless, and it's cruel. Your facilitating of sex change treatments on minors makes you complicit in crimes against humanity. You condemn the uninformed minor to lifelong medical complications, sterility, sexual dysfunction, and mutilated bodies. How cruel of you to rob the minor of two beautiful privileges of adulthood, sex and parenthood. You rob them of these choices before they even reach the age of 18. Moms for Liberty is not saying a person can never transition. We're saying let the adult make that decision.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Leslie Quinn. I'm a registered voter in Clark County, a mom and a grandma. I'm here today representing myself. I'm here to ask CCSD School Board to support repealing transgender regulation 5138 for reasons I will explain shortly. As I understand, CCSD is currently helping 317 school children get puberty blockers, hormone injections, and ultimately sex changes. I thought children come to school to learn, not to get medical attention. That is the responsibility of their parents who love and care for them. Children belong to their parents, not the government or CCSD. Using puberty blockers in children without diagnosis endocrine conditions is a subject of ethical controversy and extreme clinical concern. There are several issues as well as physiological, psychological, and social implications of giving these drugs to minors without a legitimate medical indication for a true physiological or endocrine disorder. The use of puberty blockers can have profound implications for physical health. Bone density can be compromised potentially for life, leading to osteoporosis and bone degeneration at a young age when a child's bones should be forming strong. The interruption of natural pubertal progression will negatively affect growth, development, and future fertility. There are extreme psychological repercussions of delayed puberty which are not yet fully understood. Finally, there can be a serious impact on neurological development in children and young adults. The evidence, both clinical and empirical, strongly suggests that the non-indicated use of puberty blockers disregards the sanctity of the physiological maturation process. These drugs were originally developed for conditions such as central precocious puberty. They are being misapplied in a manner that betrays the first principle of medicine: do no harm. Some puberty blockers interfere with bone density. These drugs may compromise peak bone mass. This can set a young individual on a path toward osteopenia, osteoporosis, and a future riddled with skeletal fragility. Also, the impact on the neurocognitive development is an area of great concern. The brain undergoes significant developmental changes during puberty, and the role of sex steroids in this process is critical. The notion artificially halting this process without irrefutable cause is to gamble recklessly with the child's future cognitive abilities and mental health. The ethical dimensions of this issue cannot be overstated. Children and young adolescents cannot fully comprehend with long-term consequence of such life-altering medical interventions. Therefore, prescribing puberty blockers without a solid clinical indication is not only a breach of medical ethics, but also a potential violation of the rights of the child, as stipulated by the Convention of the Rights of the Child. In conclusion, the practice of administering puberty blockers to minors without legitimate medical indications, please stop doing this, guys.